Hello parents, I'm Chad Durrell with MGT Consulting. We're a partner of Hillsborough County Public Schools. I wanted to bring this quick video to you to show you how to access your child's work and assignments in Edsby. So let's get started. First, you'll open up an internet browser, probably Chrome would be best, and you'll want to type sdhc.edsby.com. You probably already have that bookmarked or linked on from another site. Once you get to this page, make sure it says Hillsborough County Public Schools. You want to enter your student's lunch number or their student ID and their district password and click Login. Now, once you get logged in, this is your home page or your landing page. And I know it can be very confusing at first, but we're going to walk through a couple of different pieces of it. There are two main features of Edsby that we're going to be looking at today. And the first one is going to be this classes here on the left hand side, and you'll see there's where all of your students' classes are. Underneath that, we're going to see my groups. That's not really going to be for this video, and that's something else that we can maybe share later on. At the top, you'll see a list of announcements from the school or from the district, and if we click this little arrow here, we can see some previous announcements that go along with that. On the right-hand side, you'll see a list of assignments. Now, this is just an overall list of their assignments. If you want to take a look at specific assignments for classes, that's when we're actually going to go into the class itself and look at those. And you can see we've got assignments for today, tomorrow, and then next week, even if we scroll a little further down. On the top left is where you kind of see our navigation panel. And we see our Edsby logo. If you click that, it will always take you back to this home page. Another way to get back to this home page is by going all the way over to the right-hand side and click Home. So Home and the Edsby logo gets us to the same page. The other big feature that we're going to look at is this View My Messages. That's really important, and we'll get to that in just a moment. There's also a calendar, which is basically another way to view all of these different assignments. You get to view it as a calendar instead. We don't really use these other two logos here, so we don't need to worry about those. You might notice that on View My Messages, there's this little red dot, and there's also these red dots on some of our other classes over here. Well, what that means is that there's something in there that is new. That's kind of a notification that says, hey, you have a new message, or hey, there's some new things in the art class that you might want to look at, or period 4, there's something new as well. So anytime a teacher updates or a student gets a message, that's what you'll see, that little red dot. So let's go ahead and click View My Messages. You might notice that this is kind of set up with a lot of like other social media platforms when it comes to messaging. And you'll notice this first one, there is a little red 2, which basically tells us that that is a new message. When it says broadcast, that basically means the teacher was sending out to everyone in the class through the messaging. Now, we can reply back to the teacher here as well. And if we replied back, then our reply would show up here on the right-hand side, kind of in another color, and you'll kind of see how that is very similar to other messaging apps as well. But what if I want to write a new message to a teacher? Well, it's a little hidden button, and right next to the search bar, underneath Messages, you'll see this little pencil and paper icon, and it says Compose Message. That's how you're going to start a new message to a teacher. So when I click that button, this pops up. I have to enter recipients. Obviously, who am I going to send it to? So you'll enter the teacher's last name, and you'll notice that that teacher pops up. Then I click their name, and I've added them as a recipient. Now I can type the message in. I can attach a picture. I can attach other files if I need to, if I'm submitting work or something along those lines, and then I can send the message to the teacher. And that's how you send messages. This is one-on-one private communication with the teacher. All right, so this is your primary place that you're going to be sending messages on Edsby to your student's teacher. So let's go ahead and click Edsby and go back to the home page. Remember, I can either click the icon here in the left top corner, or I can click home in the top right corner. So the other main place besides view my messages that you'll want to use are the classes here on the left side. So let's go ahead and click first period and go into that class and take a look at what's going on. Again, it does look very busy. I understand that. And so what we have here down the middle, just like many other social media applications, is our feed. It's kind of like a news feed, so to speak. So this is where the teacher will put notes, they'll put videos, they'll put other announcements that you need to know about the class in the feed. And as we scroll down, we can see we get older and older feed or messages in our feed. Now, sometimes the teacher will make a message on the feed and think that's really important. I want to make sure the students always have that readily available. And that's where you're going to find it over here on the left-hand side in pinned items. And you'll see this teacher has pinned several different posts that they have done before. Okay, and we can scroll down and then you'll see some other things underneath that as well. But for our purposes tonight, none of those are super important. What we really want to focus on is this feed here in the middle. Okay, you might see some things in the pinned items. That just depends on the teacher. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see some of the some of the assignments that will be due. So here's one that's due on the 6th. That is for next week. And then there's this journal. There will be many teachers who are utilizing this feature of Edsby. And this journal is where they will post the objective of the lesson. Why are they teaching this particular lesson? And then what the student is to do for that lesson. So in this case, they need to review the PowerPoint presentation and complete this worksheet. And it'll tell them exactly how to submit that. And the teacher's quite clear about when they are to submit it as well. If we keep scrolling, you'll notice that the teacher has also put a YouTube video on there as well and has attached the work that the student needs. Anytime a teacher posts any sort of media, whether that be documents or pictures or whatnot, this is where it's going to show up in the library. So if you know there was something that the teacher posted and you can't seem to find it in the feed, you most likely can find it in the library as well. But for the most part, you'll want to make sure to be checking that feed on a semi-regular basis, and most of the teachers will be utilizing this journal here as well. Well, let's suppose that I need to go to another class from here. I can either go back to the home by clicking Edsby and then clicking on the new class, or if I come up here to the class name, you'll notice there's a little arrow. If I click that arrow, this list pops down where I can choose any of the other classes that I need to choose. So if I need to go into this history class, I'll click that. And now I'm in the history class. And so you can see there are pinned items. Here's my feed down the middle, some assignments, the library. Now, again, you'll want to make sure to be checking this feed, and anything that is yellow is something that I have not read yet. Okay? Now, one word of warning. There is this note thing, this note box at the top where you can put pictures and documents and links and things and you can share. That's exactly what that sounds like. You're sharing it with the whole class. This is public. So if you type into here and you click share, everyone in the class can see that. So if you want private communication, with one-on-one communication with the teacher, you'll want to make sure to use the messages. View my messages, not in the class page. Everyone in the class will be able to see this. Now, suppose that once we start getting into some of the lessons and the teacher starts grading things, I need to view my students' work. Well, at the top right-hand corner, you're going to see class, my work, and planner. My Work is where you're going to find their grades. So click My Work, and you will see there's no posts, there's no grades of this class yet. Well, this is the beginning of the fourth quarter. That should be expected, right? The students haven't done much from now, right? So with Edsby, it normally starts off with this graph. I'm not a huge fan of the graph view. So if you click assessments, it really should be assignments is what that means. Like, what has the student been assigned? And so we click that and we can actually see a list of things here. And so Edsby categorizes into four main categories: incomplete, upcoming, ungraded, or graded. In this case, we have 2 upcoming assignments because the dates are beyond today's date, right? So we have April 3rd and April 6th. And once those are submitted and done and the teacher grades them, this is where we'll be able to see the student grade as well. So this is obviously something that you're going to want to know about in the next few weeks. All right, let's go back home. And I think that covers all of the basics of Edsby. And so if you have any other questions, you can reach out to your student's teacher or the administration at the school, and they can help you further. So I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you, and have a great semester.